Cowboys training camp, live from Oxnard, California. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Texas Cheer Liquor, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Here is head coach Mike McCarthy of your Dallas Cowboys sitting and joining with us for the first of what will be, we were doing our count, Coach, of 18 visits as you will join us every Friday morning. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said a minimum of 18 visits. We're just beginning it. And before we dive into stuff, good to see you again, Coach. Looking good. Glimmer in your eye as always.
Absolutely. I mean, it's training camp. This is the best place you could possibly have a camp, so everything's going great. Absolutely. Team staying, relatively healthy, but no,
how are you feeling?
Loving it. I feel great. Yeah, I feel great.
No jet lag yet? No
jet lag. No.
You know what I mean? Where you start feeling like, what day is it yet? None of those?
Camp is, you're trying to, just maximize everything you can here because, you're on a limited time with your players, but right. You get to train in this space here. There's nothing like it, so we can go full speed.
In our business, we get up early. And you start living with this internal clock. I know there's a certain time of day I'm supposed to be doing something. Have you hit that with the camp? Like it is 7:15. Right. There's a meeting I got to be at, and I know where I need to be. Have you found that rhythm yet?
Well, I'm an early riser, so the mornings I love. The nighttime is the part that it always takes you a while to get into a rhythm. Because this is our offensive staff. This is our first time going through it together, so. We're spending a little extra time at night than we probably like to, but it's just kind of where we are.
With you taking over the play calling, did you get as much time to decompress as you normally do? I know the last couple of years I talked to you, kind of take that time away and kind of get away. Were you able to still have that time to yourself and to the family, or did you have to get right back to work?
Well, I did. I had great family time on the break, but I spent a lot of time going back and just making sure things I've done in my past. If a couple of wrinkles that I wanted to bring in, because I think just like everything, and I've done it every year. You have a system, you have a scheme, evaluation, implementation. You're building it.
Right.
Then you have the draft. Then you get a Deuce Vaughn and then Brandon Cooks. Do we have enough? Turpin. So I mean, just making sure bringing some new ideas. So we have some wrinkles that we'll put in later that'll come out of those conversations. But so I've always spent pretty much the first 2 weeks. Because your head's still in the football.
Right.
You go on vacation, so you're still into it. So, but it was fun. I was watching old beta camp tapes and quarterback schools from the New Orleans Saints, and so
Well, during one of the mojo moments the other day, I saw and I was like, wow, this is different. Turp,
the lateral, yes.
Yeah, I saw Turp and Deuce in one of those packages. Talk to us about Deuce and Turpin, what the type of weapons, because CD was asked, hey, he feels like Turp is one of the best kept secrets. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field.
Yeah, I mean Turp, I love that guy. I mean, just the way he came in here last year, because this is when he arrived here in middle of training camp. So, but has tremendous ability. He's just so dynamic with the ball in his hands. But we're still developing him as a route runner because his ability to. He's got an incredible stride, and he's probably the quickest guy on the field too. So his combination could be lethal. But yeah, we definitely want to get have more involved in just playing the normal rotations of receiver. We don't want to be in packages where we have to identify. Every time he goes in the game, it's here. So if he can play in the flow, which he is right now, which is different than last year, just playing the flow of the offense, it'll give us a chance to. Move them around and just play.
Do some different things.
Yeah. I think will help them on those specialty plays.
Apply that same thought process to your running back, to Vaughn.
Well, our running back room's different.
My
first 3 years here, we had two dynamic runners. We had two number ones. So,
right.
You look at the 2020, version of the offense, or you look at the numbers we ran the ball. They had to go up. That was the number one focus coming out of that season. And so I thought we did a really good job, using Tony and Zeke in 21 and 22. But now that room looks differently, and how is that going to sort out? And that's why we're here at camp and working through it. But I love what the young running backs are doing. They've done a really nice job.
How would you quantify it now? You got an RB1 and an RB2 ABC.
Well, we have a veteran and a bunch of young guys. That's just the facts. So, and those young guys also play special teams. So special teams will be a big factor in how that sorts out.
If you're playing in the Hall of Fame game tonight, Coach, who's starting at right guard?
I mean, we got Josh Ball in there, and we'll just keep working those guys.
Okay.
Zach's situation is business, and we miss him. Don't get me wrong.
No, of course.
Everybody loves him,
of course,
and all that. But this is a healthy opportunity for these young players. These are reps that they can use. Especially against the number one defense. Zach and Tyron. We're going to be on a pitch count anyways. So coming in here, you got to be smart with those guys. So. Yeah, we'll just keep working these young guys.
How much did last year's offensive line issues, injuries, and all that, where you're moving guys around, go into the prep for this kind of for your offense as you've evolved this thing?
I mean, it really has every year. I mean, all my 3 years here. I mean, the numbers are
adversity's getting crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, I've never had this many offensive line starting lineups in a 2-year period, let alone a 3-year period. So. Yeah, definitely. We're very cognizant.
Can you take me to school real quick?
What's that?
Can take me to school on how do you put together an offense, looking at the offensive line the way it's structured, and find the measure between mobility, interplaceability, interchangeability, and continuity on an overall stretch with the offense. How do you meld those two things together?
You look at the individual, number one, and what is his skill set. So is he a one position player? Is he a 2 position player? And then sometimes you have a guy that can play all 3 positions. So that's the starting point. So the ample number of time that you get them trained. Now, you may only be able to get them trained in the technique and the physicality part of it, but then you can train them in the mental part of it through the walkthrough. So it's just, once again, establishing the individual's ability to play multiple positions.
How many more reps do you need to do that for real?
You never have enough.
I know, but I mean, is it like another month?
Well, yeah. Well, you guys have been around. Training camp's a lot different today than it was, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So, but that's where you have to get it done in the classroom. You have to get it done in the walkthroughs. But in the offensive line, I mean, that's a hard position, and it's, there's a thought that you always give linemen 3 years to find out where they're at. I mean, we also had a pandemic in the middle of that evaluation period too. So, that's real. I think young players, because you don't get the first padded practice was really the first rep of all their training that really was what they can tie to getting ready for the game. I mean, perimeter guys can go full speed, against one another in helmets, and get
the work.
The linemen don't get that. They don't get that. I mean, I can remember being on the MAD committee for coaches committee. John Madden used to say it all the time. What can we do to help? He's an old line coach. His original was an offensive line coach, and it was a point well made. What can we do to help these offensive linemen? I mean, it's such a disadvantage to start the season just from a training perspective. It's they don't get the trips to the plate that the other positions do.
Where I know the word you've used a lot this camp is installs. Where are you in the offense with your installs? How was your walkthrough yesterday? When you getting back in the pads? How's everything going?
Well, this is our 6th install. Then Saturday will be 7. Then next Monday will be 8. So then once we get past that, then we'll get into the prep for Jacksonville. Make sure our guys are ready. So
what's the percentage of in there? What you 1/4% in? You're 30%, 40% in? Just to give us an idea of what we're looking at. 60%.
Oh, good.
Mike McCarthy sitting in with us here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Help me be right, though. I've been arguing with people about Malik Davis. I need you to help me be right about him. I think he's the real deal. I think he can. I'm going to stand on it. I don't care what anybody says. I think Malik is going to have a breakout year. Depending on how things go, he gets the touches and the reps. I think Malik Davis is the real deal.
An advocate for sure.
Definitely. I think he's clearly one of those guys that's making that jump from year 1 to year 2 without a doubt. He showed great, really good natural run skill in his limited opportunities last year. He's done a good job in the weight room. He's stronger. And he's done a nice job with the pass protection responsibilities we've added to the running back room, and I think he'll be, he's a natural at check downs and working the underneath routes too. So yeah, I think he's developed very well.
Hey, there you have it.
He has a lot of natural run skill.
That's the reason you come to work. Hey, we look forward to sending some tacos this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Appreciate you, Coach.
We get those wins coming. Coach Mike McCarthy right here on San Antonio Sports Star for the first of what we look forward to being a minimum of 21 to 22 visits here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Which is taller than I thought.